Hi, friends. It's your host, Meg.
And Amanda. Welcome to Wake Up and Listen, the podcast where two friends get real about purpose, intuition, and laughing through the chaos.
If you're into personal growth with a side of giggles and maybe an existential breakthrough or two, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. It's time to
Wake up and
listen.
Grand Rising friends, welcome back to Wake Up and Listen, a podcast designed to help you wake up your mind and listen to your body. This episode, I want to talk about embracing our unique gifts because so many of us were born with a set of unique qualities. Unfortunately, through our schooling system, we weren't taught to tap into or honor those gifts or even embrace them. In fact, it was quite the opposite. If you learned a different way, society said there was something wrong with you and found a medication to try and fix you and sort of make you be able to sit still and learn like everybody else. I'm here to tell you, you don't need to be fixed. To think that we all learn or operate in the same exact way is wild. We weren't meant to fit in a box that limits our natural-born gifts and abilities. We weren't meant to be groomed to be worker bees. Earth was meant to be a place of thinkers, creatives, intellects that show us new ways of living and thinking and being. Humanity is meant to be beautifully chaotic. Nothing in nature is the same. So why would we be any different? For me, I've never been able to fit into the boxes they gave me. I learned that from a very young age. In high school, I learned my own unique way. So high school absolutely sucked for me. I was put on tons of meds to help me quote-unquote focus, but focusing wasn't the problem. It was my body literally disagreeing with what was happening. Like I simply couldn't absorb what wasn't for me, and I still can't. And now I think it's my superpower. But as a young girl who only had adults and authority figures to look up to, I let so many people determine what was best for me. Doctors, hospitals, outpatient programs, simply because I wouldn't conform to these quote-unquote normal ways that just didn't make sense to me. Fast forward to graduating high school, I knew college was not for me, so I let my creative side drive for a bit because I had to choose something. And that is another wildly unnecessary pressure that society puts on kids to feel like we have to figure out what we want to be when we grow up at 17 years old. I'm 30, turning 31, and I'm still figuring that out. After a decade in the beauty industry, I found my people. I found an environment that I thrived in. When I went to beauty school, I was able to learn with a bunch of other humans who also learned best by doing things hand-on and really tapping into their creative energy while absorbing the information. And working in the beauty industry for over a decade allowed me to fully witness my psychic gifts. So it was just every time I allowed myself to stop being what society wanted me to be or being what I thought I was supposed to be or should be doing, I was able to fully witness myself as a whole, as a human that was figuring things out based on what felt good in her body. And a lot of my teenage years it was hard for me and it was difficult and it was, I'm sure, hard for my family to watch me go through all of the things that I went through. But it was all because I was trying to fit in a box that I didn't fit in. It was uncomfortable, it hurt, it was painful, and I'm not the type of person that can lay her head down at night and be okay with living a life that somebody else wants me to live. And fast forward to present day, I'm still no longer choosing a life that makes sense to society. I only want one that aligns with me. Because guess what? We get one life as this human. Why would I live it for anyone else? If I literally get one time on this earth as me, why wouldn't I live it for me? Why would I let society tell me what I'm supposed to be doing or supposed to look like or act like, or when this is my life and it's my time on earth as a soul to grow. I've heard from so many people, "You're so lucky. I wish I could live like that." Well, babe, you can, because it's not luck. It's a choice. I choose myself every day. I set a dream for myself and I work at it every single day. I decided I don't care about what others think of my lifestyle and choices. They're mine. And other people's thoughts about it, that's theirs. You see, when you realize everyone is their own main character, you stop worrying about what other people are doing and saying because you're too busy creating your own life. With that said, I do want to give a few tips to help you move towards this inner freedom. Because if you're listening to me and thinking, "That's nice, but I could never," yes, you can. One small step at a time. If the problem for you is not being able to speak up for yourself, start by creating small boundaries. Small boundaries that don't require much from others, but requires a consistent showing up for yourself. Example of how to do that: get up 5 minutes earlier. Drink water before coffee. Say no when you want to. Those seem so small and tiny, and oh, really, how's that going to make a difference? Well, because every moment is a choice, and every choice is going to lead you to your next opportunity. And if you're still repeating the same things in your life and expecting a different result, well, that's just the definition of insanity. It's never going to work. It's never going to change. Because until you make the choice to make the change, nothing can change. It can't. It's impossible. This is one small example, but the bigger picture is showing up for yourself. Showing yourself that you can do hard things. Because the more you practice setting those boundaries for yourself, the more free you will feel, the more space you will have for the things that you love. And just a reminder, guys, boundaries aren't there for others to follow. They exist for you to follow, because no one will respect your space more than you. Blaming someone else for crossing a boundary is simply an excuse to not uphold it. Because again, the boundaries you place are for you to follow. An example of this, saying something like, "I won't be around negative gossip." Well, let's say you're at a party and the gossip queen is at this party and she doesn't care about your boundaries. So how do you keep it? Think about it for a second. If she comes over and she just starts spewing out all this toxic negativity about someone, how do you approach it? How do you show up for yourself so you can maintain your boundary of, "I won't be around negative gossip"? Well, you can walk away from any toxic conversation that you find yourself in, or you can even create a phrase to shut down the topic. My favorite is, "Can you repeat that?" Because when they repeat something that's really shitty and they get to hear themselves say it a second time, it sort of takes the spice out and really puts this vulnerable energy in of like, "Oh, wow, I really said that." And give some perspective on like, "Hey, are we really talking about this right now?" Or even if you don't even want to go that far to create a phrase to shut it down, just walk away. But the important part is you're maintaining your boundary because you always have power and control over yourself and your reactions. The more you practice allowing yourself to let your quirks and your unique ways of being show up, the more you will show up as your authentic self and truly live for you. At the end of the day, I just want to lay my head down and know that I love me and I love the life that I created. And only I get to live this life in this body. So how could anyone else possibly tell me how to do it? You are so worthy of a life well lived, however that looks for you. It's yours one time, so make it count. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. This is a cost-free way of helping our channel grow and reach more beautiful souls like yourself. I'll see you in the next one.